Welcome back, Fortnite fam! Weekend number 3 of the FNCS is in the books. Now today we'll be hanging out with Sundown, Bala, and Shy Wager as we recap what went down over the weekend. Let's get started. Let's kick things off with the Middle East, where Fiesel and Klops yet again are number 1, but this time they're joined by a new trio partner, Flowsaw.
The Middle East region has had the same winners every week and repeats that pattern this week in the FNCS. Alter Egos Klops, Fiesel, and Flowsaw dominate and destroy everyone else below them on height and the leaderboard with 3 out of 8 wins, clinching the top spot for the 3rd week in a row. The big change though is their 3rd player, Flowsaw, who has taken the spot of Hero Kappa from the previous weeks for what could possibly be the remainder of the season. Flow's got an aggressive style of play that his teammates love to play around and can clutch when put up to the test, using this week's results to prove he belongs with the kings of the region in the uncontested number 1 spot for the 3rd week in a row. Their tarping and height retakes are done at the perfect time, netting them positioning on the first attempt of the call almost every single game.
Next, let's talk about OCE. Goobaz, Link, and Worthy had one of the most insane performances we've seen yet.
Oceana's Link, Goobaz, and Worthy break records in the FNCS with the most wins in a final session so far in 6 out of their 8 games, with each and every single one of those victory royales being accompanied with double-digit eliminations. As a result of this, they were able to net 183 points, which is a huge feat in itself. The reason for their success is attributed to the fact that each player knows their role, and when it's time for them to ante up and perform, they do so perfectly with absolutely no mistakes. Link provides insane accuracy and precision, using his infantry rifle, picking up insane solo beams all the way into the 9th zone. Goobaz plays the pressure and support role perfectly to the point where enemies can't move or breathe, allowing his trio some room to get into the action. Worthy comes in helping out either part of his trio, racking up elims by using the most insane angles in combination with Link's damage, or positioning properly and cutting off the server based on Goobaz's pressure. Playing these roles perfectly over 8 games gives them one of the best runs we've seen in the region and a steep mountain for the rest of the competition to climb this week.
Over in Asia, Juan, Faxfox, and Sexy Boy took the number 1 spot with 138 points. Bala, let's talk about this performance.
One of the fan favorite trios at the Asia region took first place this weekend. Faxfox, Sexy Boy, and Juan outplayed the rest of their competition by 25 points, 24 of which came in their last game. They have shown, both this weekend and week 2, that they can have huge games to skyrocket them up the leaderboard. And with this weekend, they are overall in 2nd place in series points. Moving forward, even though we already knew based on their performances in the World Cup, these guys must be thought of as some of the favorites going into the next stage. We'll see though, whether the style of huge scoring games will hold in a region we have not yet seen play a format where they'll be matched against the top teams game after game.
In Europe, the E11 boys and world champion Aqua held down the number 1 spot.
So over in Europe, we saw a resurgence from the dominant duo during the World Cup Online Open qualifiers of Stompy and Chinkin, and then one of the duo World Cup winners, Cooler's Aqua, who were able to rise up and clutch up in their final 4 matches. So ready? Get this. They had 10, 14, 14, and 11 elims and placed 1st, 9th, 8th, and 8th in their final 4 matches. They scored 73 of their 119 points in the last 4 matches, able to clutch it up and then able to top Micho, Mongo, and Benji. Where on the flip side, in their final 2 matches, they were only able to get 5 points, all from elims and missed placements. They're able to deny them that back-to-back title coming out of Europe. So very good job coming out from them, and it's interesting to see if they're able to keep that level of consistency or if Micho, Mongo, and Benji will be able to be slowed down.
In Brazil, there was a battle of the kings.
We saw another changing of the guard, with the top spot being taken over by the former king, King Spam Pum Pum, otherwise known as the king who ran at everyone in the World Cup and taking walls. His former duo, Sown, and then their new trio addition, Toxic, they've been right around and in qualification every single one of those weeks, but were finally able to put the pieces together and take the top spot. They scored 128 points and were 4 points clear of Reflex Flaw and King BR, and then were also able to top out Mastir, Dracons, and Blackout. So topping out those other teams who had previously placed at the top, and then in their last 3 matches, again, a very strong finish, bookending to 13 elimination matches with a 15 elim victory royale and they only placed outside of placements in one match, and it was only an 8-minute game. So they were very efficient there. Their average placement being 5.86, and then their elims were incredible as well. So very well done from that team. And it's nice to see the progress coming out of them, because that's really what it's been about. Who can establish themselves as consistently up and top in South America. And so far, it seems like those 3 teams in the top 3 have been the ones up there.
After weeks of aiming for the top spot, one trio finally got their day in the sun.
In NA East, it's been a solid rise to the top for Animal, Aspect, and Bucky, who narrowly outplaced Booga, Clarity G, and Stretch by 5 points. In Week 1, they placed 9th, and in Week 2, they placed 3rd, and this weekend, they finally claimed the top spot. For a trio that formed only a week before the Fortnite Champions Series began, it seems that they have worked out a system that is improving. We saw during VOD review their methodical approach to getting the best position in endgame, and then racking up the eliminations from there. And this week, it was more of the same, as they continue to improve towards perfection. We have now seen multiple 15+ elimination wins from this team in round 3, the most difficult round, and it makes me believe that they will be one of the most feared trios heading into the next stage at the end of September.
And finally, in NA West, Edgy, Rex, and Scented held down the #1 spot.
NA West maintains their status quo with Rex, Edgy, and Scented snapping back for a second week at the #1 spot in one of the most aggressive regions in the world. Placing 12th place in Week 2 only gave them more faith and fueled the fire for this performance in Week 3, pushing this top-tier trio to rack up 140 points, outclassing second place by a huge margin of 23 points. Netting 4 wins out of 9 games is no joke either, showing the players understand exactly what ingredients are required for a high elim win. Whether it's Scented raining down RPGs on the rest of the server, or the combined use of shotgun angles and AR pressure from Rex and Edgy, the polished gameplay leaves a shine in the rest of the eyes of the competition, who are eager to gain the prize that's been won by the same competitors 2 out of the 3 weeks so far.
And that wraps up the recap. Don't forget, there's more content dropping later on this week. And of course, we'll see you guys on the Battle Bus.